Okay, so this time I'm going to be working on how to solve a system with three variables. So, for example, I'm going to use this one as our example. So, before you just go on and say, well, that doesn't have three variables in all of them. The reason why I chose this one is, well, I'll show you later. Anyways, well, it's a little easier to do. So the first thing you want to do is to number your equations, and you want to eliminate the variable that's not in this one. Now this doesn't always work because usually there's always three variables, but for this case there are two in this one, three in this one. So you want to eliminate the s, and in order to do that, if you remember from solving just systems of equations, you're gonna have to make it so that one of these is a plus and then something that cancels out with this when it is a negative. So what I'm trying to say is we're gonna find what's okay, so both of these go into 12, so we're gonna want to have a negative 12s up here, and we're going to want to have a positive 12s, so that way when we add them up they're going to cancel each other out, leaving us with only the r and the t. So I'll do that. You can do that as well if you'd like. Okay, so just as I was saying, we'll multiply all of this negative 3, we'll multiply by this by 4, so that way you can get the s up here equal to 12s, positive 12s, and down here you'll get a negative 12s. So when you add it up, you will get 7r minus 10t equals positive 17. Remember 45, negative 28, 17. Anyways, now this will be your fourth equation. You have it down to two variables, just like your first equation. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to eliminate one of those variables using those two equations. Because, well, yeah, there are same variables in there. And yes, this is a t, not a plus sign. You want to find whichever one is easiest for you to multiply and cancel out. For me, I would say multiplying this side by 10 would be the easiest thing to do, because 10 is an easy number to multiply. You don't need to multiply it by negative 10 because up here you already have a minus 10t. So the results of that would be and you'll have it like that. So you're gonna add them up. By then the t will be eliminated and you'll be down to one variable. Luckily for us, it's fairly easy to get this done. Sometimes there can be some numbers that aren't exactly the easiest to divide, but 47 divided by 47, you divide by both sides. S equals, I'm sorry, I did not mean to say S. R. Okay. That was the fault of my handwriting. Sorry about that. R equals 1. Now that you have what r equals, you're going to want to plug that back into one of these two equations. Equation 1 or equation 4. In this case, I would say that equation 1 would be the easiest to plug it in. It really doesn't matter, you can just plug it into whichever one. If you solve it correctly, you should get the same result. So 4 times 1 plus t equals 3. 4 plus t, 3 minus 4 from both sides, t equals -1. Now that you have these two values, t equals -1 and r equals 1, you want to plug them back into these two equations, equation 2 or 3, because you still need to find out what s equals. So I'm going to use equation 3. So if we substitute all those values in, 1 minus 3s plus 2 times -1 equals -7. 1 minus 3s minus 2, -7, subtract 1, and after you solve all of that, you should get s equals 2. Before you just assume that's right, I've done this many times myself, I've assumed I'm right, but no, it turns out my answer is completely wrong. Well, rather than just going through all your steps and just seeing if you multiply something wrong, you want to plug them all in. So we're going to plug in the values of t and r into the first equation. So that would be 4 minus 1 equals 3. That is true. Then we're going to plug in the values of r, s, and t into the second equation. So that would be -1 minus 8 minus 6 equals -15. -1 minus 8 gives you -9, and -9 minus 6 gives you -15, so that's true. Then you want to substitute it into the third equation, because just because it works on the first two equations does not mean it's going to work on the next questions, or the third equation. I've had that happen to me before. There's been situations where that happened. Anyways, back to substituting. So 1 minus 6 minus 2 equals -7. 1 minus 6 is -5, minus 2 is -7, which means this is true. So in this case, this is the right answer. And you want to write it down like this: the order in which the variables were presented to you in the equation: r, s, t. So r is 1, then s is 2, and then t is -1, -1. So there's how you solve a system of 3 variables.